There isn't a single person out there that, at some point, wasn't a newbie at something. And Moto, it's no different. I can vividly remember pulling up to the very same track I ride at now, only it was 25 years ago. I sucked. I had no idea what I was doing, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way.
And I had a lot of questions that I wanted to ask, but honestly, I was just afraid of looking stupid. What's up, everybody? I'm Mitch. Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel, Fit for Moto, and another wicked video. Now, this channel is meant for everyone from beginner to pro. And with that, with a lot of the newer riders over the last year, I've had people reach out to me over Instagram or whatever and ask me some questions that were really good questions, and they're just beginner questions. But it got me thinking. I know for sure there are people that are out there that are just like me when I was starting out, or maybe that's you, and you've got some questions that, frankly, you're just too embarrassed to ask. And that's okay, because you know what? We're all riders, we're all part of a community, so we're gonna help each other out. So today is numero uno of a new series that I want to do called Moto 101, questions that you were too embarrassed to ask. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna cover things on the most basic levels about dirt bikes in general. Again, engines, gear, track etiquette, all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be really awesome. I can't wait. Roll the intro and hit it.
So let's start with a track topic. And the very first thing, where should you park? Is there some unwritten hierarchy of parking? Because that group of pros over there looks like they've claimed that area, or are there some rules I should follow?
No. Well, at least there shouldn't be. I've been to a ton of different tracks over the years, and I can tell you that not a single track that I've ever been to is there any kind of parking hierarchy or anything like that. You might be able to look at an area and be like, wow, there's a ton of pros over there. Is that just pro parking or something like that? Again, not every track that I've ever been to has had that kind of thing. Now, that being said, there is one thing that you want to keep in mind, and I mean, this is really just kind of common sense, but you'd be surprised. Just don't park in the way of other people getting to their pits. So don't block their vehicle in, but also don't make them have to ride through your pit area to get back to their truck or van or whatever and get their bike on the stand. But other than that, look, you paid your money, you do you. Park wherever the hell you want. Beside a pro, beside someone who's new, doesn't matter, man. Park wherever you want as far as I'm concerned. We're all part of the same thing. We've all paid our money to ride. You do you.
Next, let's talk about bike setup. A lot of the time, riders will have their controls all willy-nilly. Is there a way to set your levers? Is there a specific angle that you need to measure out? Or how do you know they're at the right angle? Does it even matter where they are?
All right, lever setup, that's a pretty common one. Now, I have seen a lot of riders just leave their levers where they are when they get the bike, honestly, and that's not a really big deal. It's just that they just don't know any different. So if it feels comfortable, that's okay, but there are a couple things you want to keep in mind. The extremes, too far up or too far down. So you don't want them so high up that you have to like reach your hand way up to grab with the levers, does that make sense? And additionally, you don't want the levers so far down that you're really, your wrists and your hands are kind of at this like super awkward way to try and get the levers. And anywhere in there is totally rider preference. It's not a big deal. However, anywhere in the middle there, you do just want to keep in mind too your rider position or your attack position. So when you're coming into a corner, you want to have the levers on enough of a plane that your elbows stay up. And that's what I'm getting at when they're really high or they're really low like that. That's weird, right? So if they're on just a bit of an angle, which is the way I normally have my levers set at, it's going to help keep your elbows up. And that's important because as you're coming into corners, into braking bumps, or any sort of setup where you're in that attack position on the bike, if that makes sense, the lever position, you can still work your controls, but your elbows are going to be up and you're going to be able to attack whatever's in front of you, with a tree, a log, braking bumps, a rock, it doesn't matter what it is, but your elbows are going to be able to attack that. You'll be able to work with the bike instead of, if you think of, if the levers are way up and your elbows are down, like it's just a weird movement, right? So, no, levers, you do you, man. Not too far up, not too far down. Just keep in mind that when you are coming into a corner in that attack position, that your elbows are nice and high so you can roll with the bike. That's really all there is to it. What else you got?
What about jerseys? Am I supposed to tuck those in? Does it matter if it's loose and hanging out? Why are most tucked in? Is there something that I don't know?
Tucking in your jersey. See, this is a bit of a fashion faux pas in the whole moto world if you have your jersey untucked. It's kind of like wearing a business suit. You don't have to wear one and you can wear it however you want to, but the way you wear it is going to say a few things to the people around you. So that being said, if you do wear your jersey untucked, which a lot of people do, really doesn't matter, man, you do you. But it is going to send out probably two signals. First, it's really going to tell the community that you're not very experienced. Generally speaking, when you see more experienced riders, they always keep their jersey tucked in because it looks more professional. So you're kind of telling the community and the people around you, I really don't give a hoot if I look professional, if I look anything like a racer or anything like that. It doesn't matter to me. And that's totally fine if that's what you want to do, but that's kind of the signal that it's giving off. So if you want to look more legit, look more professional, that kind of thing, if that is something that matters to you, that's something to keep in mind with your jersey. Secondly, it's also going to tell everyone that you're not a serious racer. I don't think maybe I have over 20 some years, but realistically, you really don't see a serious rider or racer with their jersey untucked, flapping around, unless it comes out while they're riding. That's a totally different thing. Some people, like a Jason Anderson, can't seem to keep their jersey tucked in to save their life, but totally different. If you ride around with an untucked, people are going to go, he's not really a serious racer, because honestly, serious racers try to look professional. They try to look their best with their bike and their setup and all that kind of stuff. So you generally won't see their jersey untucked flapping around, but if you don't care about any of that, it's not gonna make you a worse rider because you have your jersey untucked. It's not like it's gonna get caught and you're not gonna corner as fast or something like that. It really doesn't matter. If you want to have it untucked and that's more comfortable for you, you do you, man. Get out on the track, put some laps in. Who cares? Whatever's comfortable for you, but that's kind of the fashion faux pas of our community. What else?
The seat on this bike is really long. How far back am I supposed to sit? Is it just about comfort and I can kind of sit wherever I want? Or does it really matter?
Yeah, where do you sit on that long banana seat that we have on these things? Absolutely, it matters. And I understand the question because a lot of times I'll see inexperienced riders sitting way back on the bike. And for sure it matters. So first of all, when you come into a corner, you want to sit more up front on the bike. And you want to do that because you're allowing the bike to corner a little easier when you're kind of sitting up almost like on the gas tank. You're sitting so far forward on the bike. And then the same thing if you're coming off a certain jump and you want to do something like a seat bounce, then you'll be on the very back of the bike. And a seat bounce is a whole other thing that I can get into in another video if you don't know what that is. That's really when you want to use the back of the seat is for something like that. Generally speaking, you're going to find a bit of a position like in the cockpit of the bike where it feels like a natural place to sit. But pay attention to the guys at your track. You don't want to sit too far back, and you also don't need to sit like way up on the front gas cap. You know what I mean? Like that's a little too far forward. So just keep it reasonable. Keep in that neutral position on the bike, and you'll shift your weight accordingly depending on what you need for whatever obstacle you're coming up with.
Next up, should I bring my trail bike to the track? Am I allowed to do that, and will it even work there? Is there anything I should keep in mind?
Oh, for sure you should. 100% bring your trail bike, your dual purpose, whatever it is, bring it to the track, man. It doesn't matter what you have when you get there. I love seeing guys showing up with whatever setup. You don't have to have a super expensive bike. You don't have to have a brand new bike, top of the line, all this flashy stuff. It really doesn't matter because it's just about the riding. So 100%, your trail bike can come to the track. The only thing I'll say is the suspension is probably not set up for riding on the track, so it might get beat up a little bit over some of the larger braking bumps or some of the bigger jumps if you're jumping, that kind of stuff. The suspension is probably going to be a little bit softer for a trail bike, so that might be a little different. But the gearing, you'll still be able to get around with the gearing. You'll still be able to rip around and get the job done kind of with whatever you show up with. So yeah, absolutely. Bring your trail bike. I've seen people ride with like a dual purpose, but like a KLR 600. Like I'm talking like a giant, like a Dakar rally, whatever that is. That. I've seen people show up with something that looks like that to the track and start doing laps. Now, full disclosure, I did see some signal lights fly off because it's just not built to take that kind of punishment, right? But 100%. Show up. If you feel like ripping around, do it. If the track's too beat up, well then maybe go to a different place or whatever you need to do, but 100%. So what else do you got? I think that's probably a couple things covered for one video. Hit me up on Instagram at Fit4Moto. Leave a comment on this video. If you want to just do it anonymously, because again, you're kind of like, I kind of feel like a dork for asking this. That's totally cool too. DM me, do whatever you got to do. Completely anonymous, and we'll answer whatever questions you have, big, small, difficult, simple. Doesn't matter, man. We're all here to learn. We're all part of the same community. I'm really excited about that. So I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped you in some way, man. I hope it helps just answer some of the questions that I wish I had someone to ask when I was first starting out, so I didn't feel like a dork. And when, yeah, that's it. Smash that subscribe button for me. You know, I appreciate it. Stay safe, ride safe. See you guys in the next video. Wait for some questions to come in.